ghouls and ghouls, and welcome to our 10-hour monster movie horror-thon, presented by BCTV on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, where our intrepid band of ghost hunters will attempt to prove at long last if Old Main on the campus of Bethany College is indeed haunted. And now, here are your hosts, Jocelyn Nelson and Carlo Guadagnino.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Monster Movie Horror-a-thon here at Bethany College in West Virginia in Old Main. And that was the end of the Night of the Living Dead. What did you think of that movie?
Well, you know, Night of the Living Dead is actually one of the movies that got me into wanting to be a TV student. It's one of the reasons I came to Bethany. It's kind of a creepy old place. I did kind of like this little spin-off that I want to show you, but not right now, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I might be kind of interested in that.
I mean, come on, you don't trust me? I do good work.
Well, you know what? I'm actually a little more interested to see what's going on with Taylor up in that tower, because I believe we are finally getting to the very top of the Old Main roof. What we have been looking forward to all night, we're finally going to see what's up there.
What's up there, Taylor?
Through all the narrow stairwells, the creepiness that has ensued all around us, the flies and the spiders and the dust, we have finally made it to the roof right outside. So I'm ready as I'll ever be, and if you guys want to join me. Alright, rumor has it that a few students in the past have actually taken their own life on this very roof right here. Alright, this is the fence, and as you can see, it only comes up to about my waist. So, one little slip up and I'm going over, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. Alright, even looking over here, you feel like you're about to go over at any minute. Wow. It's really slippery up here. Dead flies and the lights definitely help too. Yep, this is definitely just like your typical haunted movie. Gotcha. Wow. Alright, if you guys can't tell, this is probably one of the scariest experiences of my life, and wow, this is really high. I'm not usually scared of heights, but this is crazy. I think my cameraman over there is kind of scared too. I'm shaking in my boots even though I'm not wearing any. Alright, we're gonna slowly make our way off of this roof. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely insane. Alright, thank you guys for joining me on this little ghost hunting adventure. We didn't see any ghosts tonight. Guess they were a little scared of us, I don't know. But that doesn't mean that all the stories and myths aren't true, so feel free to check them out on your own. For now, I'm signing off, and back to you guys.
Thank you guys, thank you Taylor so much for finally getting up there and checking that out. So we didn't see any ghosts on the Taylor cam, but it was kind of cool looking up that high on Old Main.
I'd say my prediction came out pretty true. She found a clock and the ground below her as she looked down, and a big old bell.
Well, our movie's not done yet. Neither is the segment, which is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's, located on Racetrack Road in Washington, PA.
Well, you know, kind of like Jimmy John's puts a sandwich together. Like I was saying earlier, I put this little movie together, and I think that you're really gonna like it.
All right, let's check it out.
This graveyard is spooky.
Hey, look, a zombie!
The zombies will never find me in here.
The zombies have found us here! No! I sure hope they don't bust through that window. Get them off! My shoe! Whoa, that was close! Quick, get in the truck!
Hurry! Drive away!
Whew! Safe at last.
The truck is on fire!
Oh, mother.
That was some lovely film work there, Carlo, but not exactly Steven Spielberg.
So wait, what are you saying? You didn't like my film?
I mean,
You didn't
it
like
was.
my, wait,
it
you
was
didn't like my,
pretty okay.
wait, you didn't like my film? See, I can't work with people like this.
Well then, I guess since my co-host has decided to go continue his movie career elsewhere, I'm gonna bring on a guest here. So let's talk to our medium a little bit. How you doing? You feeling anything right now?
Not right now, but hopefully in the tower.
Yeah, well, we actually went on a little adventure of our own before we had to go, before you get the chance to go up into the tower, and we decided to explore Phillips a little bit.
That was kind of emotional. We went up to the attic. You can't get into the attic, but through the door I couldn't see her, but I felt her presence, and just before I started to turn around and walk down the stairs, I felt her saying to me that she's afraid to pass on because she's afraid that they won't accept her in the next life. So.
Yeah, and I did see you get very emotional there. It was kind of interesting, and I did, vibing off of you a little bit. I felt a little bad for cussing her out, for messing with me a little bit, considering I live below her.
Well, she's a lovely girl, and I hope she passes on because she deserves it. She doesn't deserve to live here and think that she's unwanted.
And I completely agree with that, though. If you do get a chance to talk with her again, please tell her to stop changing the channel during my favorite show. I had the last time, she changed it to 333 and then turned my channel off completely. I don't know if that was saying something.
333, half of 666. She thinks she's going to hell.
That's lovely. I hope she just doesn't take me with her. And I see my valiant director has returned.
Listen, I'm going to give you one more chance because I kind of like you. I'm going to go make another movie. And while we do that, why don't we kick to the next movie?
Alrighty, and we are going to kick off then while Carlo goes and does his thing to Silent Night, Bloody Night. See how you feel about Christmas after this.
Welcome back, boils and ghouls. I see you're still with us. Our monster movie Horror-Thon continues on BCTV if you dare to watch. And now, here are your hosts once again, Jocelyn Nelson and Carlo Guadagnino.
Welcome back to the Monster Movie Horror-a-thon at Bethany College. This segment brought to you by the Ad Council, public service advertising that makes a difference. So thank you very much to the Ad Council here. Carlo, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great, Jocelyn.
Carlo, that is not your mic.
There we go. Oh, so you mean, you said, it's a little cold out, you know, it's a little chilly
Yeah, we got
here.
a bit of a breeze coming through here.
Yeah,
now.
I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of eerie.
Well, as long as we're talking eerie, let's get into some eerie prizes. What's the trivia this time, Carlo?
The trivia. Hold on, I got a little too much in my hand here, folks.
Yep.
We're gonna put that there. All right. The trivia for this one is: Bodega Bay was a partial setting or partial setting of what two classic horror films?
Alrighty, and if you think you know the answer to this trivia question, we're going to want you to shoot us an email at bctvhorror-thon@yahoo.com. And guess what? We got some prizes again.
What are the prizes?
The prizes for this one are Naomi Watts showing you that you should never answer your phone in The Ring, and the Wes Craven original Last House on the Left.
Last House on the Left?
I've heard a lot about it, never seen it.
I never go to the left. I always go right.
All right, then.
Might be why I drive in circles.
Why don't we give you back a script and you can read that question again?
The question is, Bodega Bay was a partial setting of what two classic horror films?
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for that. And again, if you are the 13th correct answer, then you will win those two prizes, which are The Ring and Last House on the Left. Alrighty, well, it looks like
I'm
we're
getting blinded by some light coming out of this stairwell here.
Yeah, it looks like Taylor Furco might be coming down the stairs, so we're gonna get to her in just a second after these student stories from myself and one of our producers, Tyler Castle. Well, of course I ended up hosting this special because I really believe in ghosts. I've always believed in the supernatural, and I have a few stories of my own that kind of brought me into that belief, so I like being able to tell them whenever I can. My most recent ones actually were here at Bethany. I just moved into Phillips. This is my first year living there. Been in CV all these past years, which don't have as many ghost stories. So I've always been interested in Sarah and the stuff that goes on there. So I'm actually living on the 3rd floor, which is closest to the attic, so I'm closest to the creepiness as I can get. Ghosts don't really scare me, but they are interesting. Sarah, the main story about Sarah is that she ended up having a crush on her roommate. She was always kind of off the spectrum, a little bit of an odd girl. This is years and years ago. I can't really remember the date, but far enough back that no one really remembers her. They just know the story of Sarah. And Sarah ended up having a crush on her roommate. So when her roommate got a boyfriend and started hanging out with this guy all the time, Sarah got very jealous and got very upset about this. And it got to one point where she actually ended up hanging herself in the attic. And while she kind of picks on the girls, her center seems to be around the girls that have guys stay the night or the guys that are staying the night. And I can't help but think it refers back to that jealousy she had when her roommate stopped spending time with her in order to spend time with that boyfriend more. So I have a feeling it's that jealousy thing coming back, and that's when her haunting really escalates. My story, I guess it does start last year when I was an RA. I got nosy and I wanted to see in the attic, so I took one of the other RAs with me and we went upstairs, and I swear, I went up before him and I peeked in the little window. I'm short, so of course I'm grabbing on the edge trying to see, and I swear I saw a noose hang from a beam and just swing. So I turned around and I'm like, Ryan, you gotta hurry up here, you gotta check this out. Went back to the window again to check it to show him, it was gone. So he thought I was even crazier than he always knew I was. And now that I'm living there, I think my first real experience with it was one of the first nights I was there. Could not sleep that night. I'm tossing and turning. End up lying on my stomach, hugging my stuffed horse, and I just hear this breathing in my ear, and it almost turned into a moan. And while it was still breathing, I kind of laid still, thinking, I'll let her think I'm asleep and maybe she'll go away. And then I heard the moaning and I shot up on the rock. But obviously nothing was there. And then I had a few nights ago, me and Kayla McQuillan, who lives across the hall from me, 3rd floor also, we were in there drinking tea and hot cider because that's our end of the night ritual. And we start hearing this racket outside. So I pressed my ear against eavesdropping because that's what I do. And when I heard it was one of my friends, I opened up the door and I was like, guys, what's going on? And they said, don't you hear that? And we all went silent. You heard this vroom kind of sound, almost like a vacuum coming from upstairs. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but it's the heating unit turning on. And it was 2 of the RAs that were up there, and they said they haven't turned the heat on yet. There's nothing that should be making those noises. Kind of brushed it off, and I was just like, you guys are being crazy. It has to be something natural in the building. It's an old building. And then they looked at me and they said, Jocelyn, we just went upstairs and that door is locked tight and the lights are all on. That door is never unlocked. No one ever unlocks the attic. So the fact that all the lights magically decided to be on that night, that we started getting a few weird sounds, was really awkward. I, of course, bolted back in the room, went to tell Kayla. She couldn't sleep that night, but I found that kind of amusing. And she told me, she goes, if I hear that vrooming again, I'm coming over and I'm banging your door down until we can go back to sleep. But I guess they had to call security to go up and turn the lights off because the door was locked. We couldn't get in there.
Me and Jocelyn Nelson were hanging out watching a movie in Phillips, and all of a sudden, I had to leave. Didn't think anything of it. Did my studies and stuff, and then went to bed. I woke up the next morning to go take a shower, and I looked at my shoulders. They were all bloodshot. It looked as if someone had scratched me, and I was freaking out. I'm in a fraternity. I was showing all my brothers. I was like, what the heck is this? And to this day, it kind of spooks me out because it could have been weightlifting, because it was streaks instead of just a pure bloodshot arm, you know what I'm saying? And it looked as if someone had really got to me. I was freaking out the whole day. I didn't know what to do about it. So to this day, I still don't know why it happened. It's already gone off my shoulders.
Thank you for returning to the Monster Movie Horror-a-thon here at Bethany College, and we are shooting from Old Main Corridor. And we have Taylor Furco come down now from the tower. Taylor, how was it up there?
It was very scary. You don't even realize how high you are until you actually get up there, lean over the railing, and you're like, whoa, I could plummet to my death at any second. But, you know, for the most part, it was a blast. Really scary, but really fun.
Yeah, that really would freak you out a little bit. And those spiral staircases, did you get dizzy at all going up?
Let me tell you, they are no joke. You walk up and you can't tell, but there's spiders and cobwebs that are probably still floating around in my hair. I have a lot of hair, but there's flies buzzing in your ear at all times, spiders everywhere all over you. You don't even know it, but you have cobwebs just covering you, and I can't even tell you.
Well, I'm proud of you for making it through all of that. And hello?
I can tell you guys for certain there are no ghosts inside of Jocelyn's head.
Yep, we inspected it. She's good.
Now, there might be a few wires or something loose up there, but she's got no ghosts.
Now, Carlo, that's just your opinion.
Back to you, Jocelyn.
Much appreciated for you checking that out, because, you know, I was concerned about that. So what was the level you were most afraid of in the tower?
I was definitely most afraid of the top because, I mean, you're up there and there's the stories about people jumping off of there, and if the door locks behind you, you know, you're kind of stuck, and I don't want to be stuck up there with any ghosts who might push me over the edge. Again, plummeting to my death is not something I want to do at Bethany College.
Well, now that you've managed to brave that top of the tower that we're seeing a little bit way up top near that clock, we are actually able to send our medium up since you broke the ground, so we're going to see how she feels when she gets back down here. But until then, we're going to send it back to Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Good evening, boils and ghouls, and welcome to our 10-hour monster movie horror-thon, presented by BCTV on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, where our intrepid band of ghost hunters will attempt to prove at long last if Old Main on the campus of Bethany College is indeed haunted. And now, here are your hosts, Jocelyn Nelson and Carlo Guadagnino.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to the Monster Movie Horror-a-thon here at Bethany College inside the Old Main corridor. And Old Main is exactly what you're seeing right now. We just got out of that tower a little bit ago. And this segment is being brought to you by Krispy Kreme Donuts, located near the Trinity Plaza in Washington, PA. Check out their Ghostbusters donuts before they're gone.
Hi, folks. I'm here with Jocelyn. Jocelyn, how you doing?
Lovely.
Oh, I was just making sure you didn't have ghosts inside your nose.
I'm glad you're checking that. My head was clear.
We're good. No ghosts in the nose either. She's good, folks, just so you know.
And this is who I've been putting up with for multiple hours tonight.
You love me.
Yes, in this cold weather, that flashlight is wonderful.
It's warmth. Look, warm. Warming.
Alrighty. Well, while I take care of him, let's take a look at some ghost stories from our very own Taylor Furco and Rich.
When I came back, I was assigned to Holland again because everybody had lived there for the summer. So one night I was sleeping. It felt like I was having a dream, but it wasn't like no normal dream. I was getting choked. And I was trying to call my roommate, but Harry was knocked out. He was asleep. So I got up in the morning and told everybody about it. They didn't believe me. Then a week later, Kelly Pierce, he's a defensive end for the Bethany Bison football team. He also had the same dream, but his felt more real than mine. He was really getting choked, so he got some anointing oil, spilled over the room, and started praying. So it became very strange. Everybody in Holland started seeing things. Everybody once in a while, it was like 12 o'clock at night. I was going to the bathroom. I saw shadows moving, but I was really scared, so I went back in my room. I thought it was just me. My roommate Harry also got out. First thing he saw was a shadow. He went back to his room. So after a while, we kept talking about it. Then we asked a student, he's a senior here, Mike Nelson, and he told me his brother used to go here about 4 years ago. He said somebody killed himself upstairs. He had diabetes. It was pretty long ago. It was in room 304 in Holland. And I guess when he died, his spirit is still there. So there's a guy living in the room. He said the same thing, like he was getting bored and everything, so he also moved out.
So this is my own personal story separate from what we're talking about on the show. But last night my friends and I were actually just wandering around coming back to our room, and we were going through the corridors of Old Main, and we started to hear some kind of children's laughter and got really creeped out. So we walked a little bit faster, and me being always attached to my cell phone, I pulled it out, opened up Instagram, opened up Snapchat. Snapchat wouldn't load. So I went to the regular camera and I just started taking pictures of whatever I saw inside, and I didn't see anything when I first shot it, but I kept taking multiple pictures, and I opened up a video to try to take a video, but the video actually crashed and my phone turned off, which was weird because it was fully charged. So we went back to my room, pulled up my computer, put the images up, and we noticed a few of them that were really interesting, especially ones that were taken only a few seconds apart, and we saw what looked like children's faces in the windows of the corridors of Old Main. And last night when we went to open those doors, the doors were locked and sealed shut, so nobody could be in there at all. So we were really scared, and when you zoom in on the computer, you can definitively see what looks like 2 to 3 children's faces in the window. And then I also have one of the academic parlor outside of Old Main, where it looks like a person with long dark hair staring out the window at you. And that was at midnight, right after the bell tower started sounding its chimes. So it was really scary.
Did you and your friends already believe in ghosts, or was that kind of a turning point for you?
Yeah, I love ghost hunting, and it's kind of one of my things. I used to want to be a ghost hunter, and I transferred here from Penn State up in Erie, and there's a lot of legends up there too. So we would always take Ouija boards and night vision cameras and just try to see what we could find. Sometimes we found stuff, sometimes we didn't, but I was just excited to go to a place where there's actual ghosts.
And that was Rich and Taylor with their ghost stories. Pretty creepy, huh? As long as we're talking about Taylor's ghost stories, Taylor, why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
All right, so as you guys know, the last film is entitled Silent Night, Bloody Night, and it actually spawned a sequel entitled Silent Night, Bloody Night, The Homecoming years later after that. The strongest element of this film is the fact that it was made before the slasher boom hit, and it was ahead of its time because of that. So it was a major hit at drive-ins before their demise, and nobody really goes to a drive-in now. The film developed a cult following after the horror host show Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, took an interest in it. But the killer developed the faceless killers that would follow, particularly just a year or two later when it inspired the popular Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that hit the screen. And as you can see there are a lot of similarities between our killer and the well-known Leatherface from that series. And then that spawned many others down the line. Without that horror franchise, can you imagine a world without the faceless killers that would follow? No Jason, no Michael Myers, no Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, or even the Fisherman. Plus, without the Silent Night, Bloody Night and its inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper would have never gotten his start as one of the predominant directors in Hollywood, meaning no Poltergeist franchise, and that spawned 3 films and a TV series later on. And this is all because of Silent Night, Bloody Night, which was an independent horror film that was way ahead of its time. The house that was used for the Butler Mansion still stands in Oyster Bay in Long Island, New York, and its original working title was actually Zora, which is an odd choice since nothing is referred to by that name in the film. All right, so now that you guys know a little bit more about it, I'll send it back over to Carlo and Jocelyn. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Taylor, for all of that information. And we also figured that...
A ghost knocked that right off my shirt.
Uh-huh.
That's what happened. It was on my shirt.
Oh, you know, I saw that, definitely. And as I've heard, Taylor actually has a few really cool jokes for us about Halloween. Taylor, you're our resident, what do we want to say, comedian?
Let's not go that far.
Halloween comedian. So why don't you tell us something punny?
All right, guys, so what do you call a witch that lives at the beach? Well, you would obviously call it a sand witch. Yeah, guys, we had a lot of those tonight. You guys ready for the next one?
Next one, come on, let's hear more.
All right, so what kind of makeup does a ghost wear?
Oh, tell me.
Obviously, they would wear mascara.
Oh,
But wait, we forgot about the witches. I heard they don't wear makeup, but they use plenty of scare spray.
I don't know. I think
Heard that one? No. But I actually forgot to tell you guys, when I was up in the tower, I didn't see any ghosts, but I did run into a mummy or two. You know, they were going to stop and talk to me, but they were too, wait for it, wrapped up.
Oh, she's not the best in the business for nothing, folks. Look at her. Give it another shot, real quick.
Oh, wait. Guys, Dracula's calling. He's calling. He said my jokes really suck. So, on that note, we're going to get back to host Jocelyn and Carlo. Thanks, guys.
And now that we've helped you laugh a little bit, let's scare the bejeezies out of you again and go back to Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Welcome back, boils and ghouls. I see you're still with us. Our monster movie Horror-Thon continues on BCTV, if you dare to watch. And now, here are your hosts once again, Jocelyn Nelson and Carlo Guadagnino.
Back, everyone, and this segment of our monster movie Horror-a-thon is brought to you by Domino's Pizza, located in West Liberty, West Virginia. So thank you to Domino's for all the great pizza tonight.
Yeah, I took some of it home.
And now we're gonna have a little look at the security cams that we have around the old main building a little bit. So why don't we show some security cams? Up there, we got one of the bio labs.
That's right out that door right there. Jenna's right in that vicinity. You better be careful, Jenna. Don't go in that door. Don't do it. No. All right, folks, we're gonna have
some outdoor shots.
Eric, you're gonna have to send security because I think Jenna has gone into the building and she's lost to a ghost. So.
All right. Well, as long as we're looking at these cameras, Carlo, why don't you read us a little bit of the trivia that we got going on tonight?
Where do you take this trivia? Okay. What is the saying that Jack Nicklaus' character kept typing over and over to himself in the Stanley Kubrick classic, The Shining?
And if you know the answer to this question, we're going to want you to send your answers to BCTV Horror-a-thon at yahoo.com. That's BCTV Horror-a-thon at yahoo.com. And you know what your prize is for this one? We got some good ones. Your prizes are the original Scarefest, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and what Variety magazine calls the scariest film ever made, The Exorcist. And Carlo's making a face right now. Well, if you want those two movies, again, send your answer to BCTV Horror-a-thon at yahoo.com. The 13th email we receive with the correct answer will win this movie prize double pack. Remember that your emails are time-stamped and we will know when you answer. And you want to answer before the end of our movie, Silent Night, Bloody Night, which our end is coming for that. But right now, we're going to bring out Jenna. We've pulled her along.
Jenna, you're alive! Jenna's here,
She
everybody.
made it through the door, and we're going to bring her on here.
Jenna, you're back. Here, let's...
Yeah, come on in the screen, Jenna. So, Jenna, what have you got to tell us about some old Maine?
Well, you know what? I was actually walking on a night very similar to this, alone, and I came to Old Main Corridor, where we are right now, and I looked to my left, and there was a figure in black, and I was confused. I looked around, and I looked back to my left, and it wasn't there anymore.
All right, then. So
Spooky.
we have more confirmation of stuff that's gone in Old Maine.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have you had any experiences around camps other than Old Maine, Jenna?
You know, I lived in Phillips for a little bit over the summer, and I had some weird Sarah encounters. I think I had my laptop on my bed, and I would come back to my room. It would be in the middle of my bed, and it would be flipped over on the floor sometimes. So I think maybe I offended Sarah or something like that.
Yeah, Sarah seems to get offended pretty easily. But we talked to our medium earlier, and apparently our medium does not believe she is malevolent. They just believe she's a little bit off, ready to go, but not sure where to move on to.
I think she's into hijinks. I think she likes to mess with people.
I heard that she hates guys, and that makes me scared.
Well, as long as we're talking about our medium, Jenna, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks, Jenna. Be safe. Be safe.
And we're going to bring Angela back on. So, Angela, you have been up into the tower now. What have you got to tell us?
Well, I have a lot to tell you. I don't know how much time I have to tell you, but I went into the tower. The first room, it's got all the signatures in there. And I don't want to tell you about that just yet because it's the most exciting room of the entire thing. So next we went into the room with the bell in it. The first part of it, not that exciting. You get up the ladder to the top, and I just felt this surge of energy straight from the bell, basically. Like the history bound itself to the bell. I actually heard that when Taylor was up there, the ladder moved on them. I don't know exactly what that was, but it's kind of creepy. And then, so we moved on to the next room, which I believe is the actual clock. Yes. And when I got up there, I walked out and I seriously felt exactly where the students jumped from. A little closer to midnight, the bell rang, and I actually felt one of the students jump from the tower.
Wow, and that is pretty consistent with rumors we've heard here around Bethany about at a certain strike of the clock, that's when people are seen.
Okay, and we went up a little further than I think Taylor went before. We got up to the top and we couldn't go any further. It was just way too scary. I actually felt this surge of energy telling me to get out. So back to the first room where all of the signatures are. I stood in there. I asked the spirits to show me a name of someone who was in that room, a spiritual presence. I cannot say the name for fear of someone being offended or family watching, but I can say that in that moment I was possessed and drawn directly to a name on the wall. My hand was directed straight to it. That was the most amazing experience I have ever had. It was the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. I can't really say that I've been possessed before, but there's video proof. I'm not sure if we have time to show it.
Yeah, we seem to have lost our cameraman as far as who we could show that to, but it's kind of funny because I asked you earlier tonight when I was just inquiring a little bit whether or not you actually believed in possession and whether or not how you stood on either side of that. And I think your answer's pretty clear now, right?
It's very clear. I definitely believe in possession now because if it didn't happen to me, I was still skeptical, and now I can say that possession is real. There's no doubt about it.
And we're kind of happy that that happened for you here on our campus. And we did have members of our crew who observed it, and I'm sure their beliefs are a little swayed as well.
I don't know how happy I am about this being, there's possessions and stuff on campus.
He is not malevolent. He is a very calm and kind spirit. He answered my question, guided me to where I asked him to. That's something that rarely happens, even on the TV mediums. They have a hard time having that happen.
Well, that is all very interesting, and we are going to go back now to our finale of Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Good evening, boils and ghouls, and welcome to our 10-hour monster movie horror-thon, presented by BCTV on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, where our intrepid band of ghost hunters will attempt to prove at long last if Old Main on the campus of Bethany College is indeed haunted. And now, here are your hosts, Jocelyn Nelson and Carlo Guadagnino.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And that was the finale of Silent Night, Bloody Night, which was our scariest movie we've had at this marathon.
I don't like Christmas anymore.
Well, we want to thank our sponsor for this particular segment, our final segment, Buffalo Wild Wings, located on Racetrack Road in Washington, PA, and we did enjoy their food.
Oh yes, I took some of that home too.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, we actually have something really creepy to show you guys that refers back to our last segment.
So, Kyle Wells, take it away over there.
phone, what we are seeing right now is the footage that he took while he was up with the medium in the tower, where she says that she felt a possession and was guided to a name. As you can see, he was looking around a little bit trying to find a name of his own.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. This is just...
And those are the orbs that she said she saw. Apparently they're the start of a spirit.
Oh. I was
And
not
now
ready
we
for
see her face. Wow.
I was not ready for the face to just appear like that.
And that was right after she had found one of the names and says that she was guided to that name by a spirit.
Well, you know what's weird about the she felt possessed. You know, I felt possessed to create something that I think both of us could enjoy. We could all, the audience could enjoy.
You're going to subject our poor audience to another one of your films.
No, you give me a break now. Now you see, this is why this was the inspiration for my latest film.
Well, before we get to that, I'm going to choose something a little more interesting. So let's read some trivia. Hey, what can I say? That's what the audience wants back home. So let's read some trivia. Before achieving Hollywood stardom, what famous actor was a victim of the killer in the original Friday the 13th movie?
It's my man Kevin Bacon.
Alrighty, I'm moving along. Question number 2 that we had was how many college filmmakers get lost and eventually fall victim in the Blair Witch Project?
That would be 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3.
And our third question was, what are the call letters of the radio station Johnny Depp is listening to in his classic death scene in Nightmare on Elm Street?
That'd be KRGR Radio.
And I saw that playing today, so it's still not out of style. Question number 4. In the original slasher classic Scream, there are 3 rules to successfully surviving a horror film. What are those 3 rules?
You can never have sex. You can never drink or do drugs. And you can never say you'll be right back, because you probably won't.
So how long do you think you'd last in a horror film, Carlo?
Probably through the opening credits.
Okay, moving along to question number 5. Question number 5 reads, name the only horror movie to ever win the Best Picture award at the Oscars.
That would be Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs.
And our producer worked on that, correct?
He did. He has a poster in his office that's signed by the Jodie Foster. Ooh, I like her.
Hugely successful movie. Moving along to question number 6. Question number 6 reads, in the slasher classic Halloween, the killer mask was modeled and created from what famous actor?
It's Captain Kirk, everybody. William Shatner.
Number 7. Carrie Elwes, one of the stars of the horror classic Saw, also starred in 2 classic fantasy films, one directed by Mel Brooks and the other by Rob Reiner. What are they? This one I know the answer to. They're 2 of my favorite movies, actually.
Robin Hood Men in Tights and The Princess Bride, both classics.
Now, I can totally see you singing Men in Tights from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
We are men. Oh, we are men in tights. That was my stuff. Back in the day,
that would be the Carlo twist on it. Okay, question number 7, I believe. Question number 8. What was the first Stephen King novel adapted into a movie?
In 1979, Sissy Spacek played the little title role of Carrie, a story about a young woman with extrasensory perception. I remember that. They dumped the blood on her, and then she goes ballistic, burns the school down, and all that. She's crazy. Don't dump the blood on her. I don't see it. I don't understand. Why you gotta be so mean?
Question number 9. Question number 9 reads, Bodega Bay was a partial setting, or for what 2 classic horror films?
The 2 classic horror films was John Carpenter's classic suspenseful masterpiece, The Fog, and Alfred Hitchcock's Bodega Bay was a partial setting.
And it was also a setting for The Birds. Moving along to question number 10. And our final question of the evening, the question was, what is the saying that Jack Nicholson's character kept typing over and over to himself in the Stanley Kubrick classic, The Shining?
Here, take that. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
And that's kind of your catchphrase here, isn't it?
Well, something like that. I like to play.
All right.
But now what everybody's been waiting for. Literally, Kyle, are you waiting for it? Tell me, you're waiting for it. You're waiting for it, Jordan? All right, what were you waiting for? Jocelyn, I hope you like what I've done to you. Roll it.
Okay, so this one time there was this guy named Dr. Frankenstein.
And he was all, I'm going to make a monster.
So we dug up a corpse,
Found a brain.
and filled them both with enough electricity to power Cleveland.
It's alive! It's alive! And what do you know? The monster was a monster. He was all. And soon enough, the townspeople found out about the monster.
So they teamed up with the doctor to hunt him down.
To the old mill!
And the monster's all like...
And the townsfolk are all like... And then the monster's like, wait, dear townspeople! I'm a horrible beast, it's true. But my actions are but a product of a society that would rather hold me at arm's length than embrace me. You call me a monster, but ask yourself, who's really the monster here? Burn it alive! Kill the monster!
And you even had me get killed by the kitten.
Of course I did. I kicked the kitten. You get killed by the kitten. That's how
Lovely.
it works.
Well, thank you for that little trick on our Halloween special.
I bet you everybody there that stayed up with us for this whole time loved that last bit.
And we're going to send out a few thank yous to those people, to our two producers, Tyler Castle and Daryl Fenton, and to our main producer, Eric Sprouse. Thank you very much to them.
He wears a funny leather hat, but he's a good guy, folks.
And I'm conveying a thank you from our medium who wanted to thank us all for this experience and that she was able to be a part of Old Main. She really enjoyed her experience here, and we're going to thank her for coming.
She's a very nice lady, but please don't ever look me up. I don't want to know if there's ghosts near me.
And we're going to send a huge thank you out to our entire crew, to our cameramen, to our grip, everyone who really helped to make this possible.
Well done, every one of you. You all make this happen.
And a huge thank you to the comm department here at Bethany College and to our president of Bethany College, President Scott D. Miller, for allowing us to do this special right here in Old Main Corridor.
Well done, all of you. You all make this possible.
And to our sponsors, of course, for keeping us well fed and taken care of here on set.
Well done, all of you. I'm no longer hungry.
And with that, we thank you guys so much for attending our Monster Movie Horror-Thon here at Bethany College in Bethany, West Virginia.
Have a good night, folks.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights just thinking how you did me wrong.
And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along.
I've got the chained up little person still in roughly through.
And I